everyone, my name's Kate. The following video is the oral component to my psychology unit at University of New England in New South Wales, Australia. This is for the psychology unit Behaviour Modification, course code Psych 314, and this is the oral component to my main assignment for the unit. Our main assignment was we had to design our own intervention program for either a behaviour that we found fault in with ourselves or someone else had, or a phobia that we had come across. Now, my intervention program concerned trying to stop me swearing because I have somewhat of a potty mouth and I wish to become a psychologist and therefore a professional business person, as it were. And I felt that this was just an inappropriate level of behaviour for someone who wanted to become someone involved in that career. Now, the main component I used to change my behaviour in my intervention program was positive reinforcement, which is what this video is going to be primarily about. Positive reinforcement involves the occurrence of a behaviour which is followed by a stimulus or a reinforcer, or by an increase in a previous stimulus. This results in a strengthening of a behaviour. For instance, if a child throws a tantrum in a supermarket and his mother buys him lollies to stop him throwing the tantrum, then it's positively reinforcing in him that by throwing a tantrum he's going to get lollies, which obviously isn't a good thing, but it's how this process works. Now, in my experiment, what I did was I monitored my behaviour for a week, and at the end of that week's monitoring, I averaged out the amount that I cursed on a day-to-day basis. For the next 4 weeks, I then proceeded to decrease the amount I sweared by a certain allotment per segment. So, for instance, I started out with a 20 word a day quota, and by the end I was down to 0 because I intended to completely abolish the behaviour of myself. Now, my experiment was not a complete success. I did still swear at the end of it. However, I think that's because I did not use positive reinforcement to its full advantage. Now, in my intervention, positive reinforcement was used like this. I had the quota, and if by the end of the week I had not gone over any of my individual quotas, so for instance, there might be a week where I started out by being able to curse 15 times in one day, but the week ended by only being able to curse up to 10 times in one day. So provided I didn't go over that quota on any given day, I was allowed to, at the end of the week, purchase a book that I particularly wanted. Or if there was a specific event that my college was holding, I was allowed to attend it, whereas if I hadn't met my quota, I was not allowing myself to attend. This positively reinforced within me that the discontinuation of a particular behaviour, and therefore the instigation of a new behaviour, not cursing, was positive, and it made a psychological link between the cessation of the behaviour and the instigation of the new behaviour and the reward at the end of said period. Now, like I said, my experiment was not a complete success. I was still cursing at the end, and I think the problem was that I had too vague enforcement of positive reinforcement. I probably should have done it on a day-to-day basis. This is when it will prove the best. So we might see this, for instance, in a child that you're trying to toilet train. On every single incidence that a child uses the toilet and does not soil themselves, then the child should be rewarded. It should remain a consistent, positive reinforcement on every single individual achievement. As I said, mine was less than like this because it was all tallied up at the end of a week. Now, I think perhaps if I'd been more thorough in my enforcement of this behaviour, then we might have seen a better outcome at the end. Positive reinforcement is an amazingly useful tool in behaviour modification, and it can be used for just about any situation, any circumstance, but it has to be done properly. It's not something that you can do with only an ounce of commitment. You have to do it all the way. That being said, I encourage anyone who is watching this to try positive reinforcement in the curing of their own bad habit or in the attempt to overcome a phobia. You just have to give it a go. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.